Hello, everybody, and welcome to MangaPod. We're a weekly podcast in which we all get together after we read all or part of a manga, and then we discuss it with friendship, love, and lots of spoilers. This week, we are discussing Kokou no Hito, volumes 1 through 3, chapters 1 through 31. I am Erin of Happily Erin, your host, and with me are all of my co-hosts. Everybody! As well as a very lovely guest. So we're going to have everybody go around and introduce themselves, starting with Dodger.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dodger. I love that looking at chat right now, it's just filled with people being like, Yoku's alive!
And all of the hate hearts.
Yes, it's perfect. I love it. So, welcome to MangaPod, guys. Let's talk about rock climbing.
Oh, yeah. Hey guys, what's up? Yokurama here. I haven't said that in a while, so I'm rushed. But hey, it's kind of weird, like weird feeling to be back on. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do with myself. I'm kind of like just sitting around. But I think we'll get into the flow of things once we start talking about Kokou no Hito. It's gonna get pretty cool. There's a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah. Yoku, I'm happy to be manga potting with you.
Yeah, me too.
Cool. My name's Lou, and hi, I manga pot stuff.
Yeah.
That's my stuff.
Wow.
Kokou no Hito's pretty lit, yo. We're about to talk about it.
Yeah, I'm MyLadyGabriella, or Gabby. I'm the in-house rock climber. You know.
Yes.
Yeah, we got a pro here.
I was gonna say,
well, not pro, but I do rock climb.
This is like the most relevant guest we've ever had, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you so much for coming on. We're so excited to have you join us for this. Yay! If you guys have never joined us for a manga pod before, what we like to do is give you a short spoiler-free description of the manga we read, aka a summary, and then we'll give you our spoiler-free recommendations, whether we think you should spend time going to read this manga or not. That way, if it sounds like something you're interested in before we get to spoiler section, you can take your leave, go read it, and then come back and watch the VOD of this on youtube.com/happilyerin, where all of the previous manga pods are hosted. We do ask that you don't my mouth is really dry, so I'm just can't speak very well. We do ask that you don't post any spoilers in chat until we get to spoiler section, and then once we get there, you don't post anything past what we read, chapter 31. If you post fake spoilers, any sort of spoilers, anything, you'll be timed out, warned, banned, all of that not so fun stuff. We call people who spoil rotten bacon butts. It's kind of a gross term, so you don't want to be it. Awesome. Let's go ahead and do spoiler-free description. Gabby, if you don't mind.
Okay, so on his first day of transferring to a new high school, a loner named Mori Buntaru is cajoled by a classmate into climbing the school building. Despite knowing that one misstep could send him spiraling to his death, he moves forward, and upon finally reaching the top, Mori experiences a sense of fulfillment. That feeling, which seems to be telling him, "You're alive," gives birth to an adrenaline for rock climbing.
Yeah. Very succinct.
I was gonna say, I'm always just so delighted when it's a good summary.
Me too. Not
Here's the basic idea. The end.
Not like an obnoxiously long one like we've had before. I think
That
Battle
spoils
Angel.
the first 10 volumes.
I think Battle Angel is the worst offender of that. I'm pretty sure it was this long the first time I read it, and I was bleeping everything, and it just made no sense because it was just all over the place.
Yeah. I feel like it's the difference between somebody who really loves it and somebody who likes it and knows the story and is able to, keep it short.
Yeah.
And when somebody really is into it, they're like, well, I can't leave this part out. This is important.
Well, but this needs to hook them, and then this needs to hook them. We like short summaries. It's perfect. Spoiler-free recommendations. Would anybody like to go first? I can go.
Go for it.
I had never heard of this manga before, but I heard it was a sports manga, and it was psychological, and I was like, I'm in. And it ended up being very entertaining and very delightful and a very fast read. The art was fantastic. Most of the time, there was a few times where I was like, what happened? But most of the time, the art was really, really good, especially as you get further and further into it. I really enjoyed the character progressions. I really enjoyed the pacing of the story. I was thoroughly surprised by this manga, and I think if you enjoy any sort of psychological or sport, you should definitely check it out. And if you enjoyed Oyasumi Poon Poon, there are definitely elements. I think that it's not exactly the same, but in terms of tone, I think there's certain things that are similar. But I think you should definitely go and check it out. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I've never heard of this either. And I'm surprised that I haven't because I mean it ended like in 2012 and I mean it should have created some kind of stir, but I don't know how popular it was at that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved it. I mean, I read the first chapter. Usually, like I wrote in our like chat that we have on WhatsApp that usually like the first chapter of a manga, even if it's good, you're usually kind of sitting there. It's like 60 pages. You gotta like go through it, and you're okay introductions. But I mean, this one like flew by, and I ended up reading the first few chapters because I mean it had like a really good intro altogether, and a lot of good characters and just situations are they are very intense.
I was surprised that
everything is shaky.
I was surprised I hadn't heard of it yet because I've literally looked up rock climbing anime and it didn't come up.
Oh
no! But now I know, and I really enjoyed it. There were like little things that I was like, as a rock climber, I'm like, that's not possible. But even, but then I'm like, it's anime. It's because it doesn't.
You just have to believe.
Yeah, basically. So, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it got. With the little bit that we read, there was so much that went on, so I really enjoyed that. And I can't imagine how much more there is.
Yeah.
I also really enjoyed it. I think it does have some minor issues with its art, but that's like on a, maybe one panel every few chapters type of deal. So I think it's totally negligible. I think it's establishing an interesting base for its characters, and I feel like the way that they're going to develop from here is what's really going to be interesting. It doesn't have a very strong central narrative carrying it apart from the main character's desire to climb, but I guess with the events that occurred in these first 31 chapters, we'll see how that factors in and what story emerges from that. It reminds me a lot of Real for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It reminded me a lot of Real as well. It is a story about the sport, but it's also a story about like people who were working through some shit, right? Yeah. And I loved it. The art was pretty hit or miss for me, but I just enjoyed reading a manga about like something completely different. I thought that was really cool. And there's always the concern that they're gonna go too in depth in trying to explain things, and you're gonna get lost. And that never once happened. It told you just enough, and it did go by really fast. And I'm devastated at where we stopped.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that we're all on the same page. So I know that this manga is gonna go back on the list.
I read on Reddit that apparently as it goes on, the art just gets better and better. So that's good.
That's how I felt overall. In the beginning, it was noticeably worse and then the last volume or so was just beautiful, especially like mountains. I mean,
the mountains,
landscape.
Great.
Just nature.
Awesome. Let's go ahead and jump into spoiler section. Once again, we ask that you guys don't post any spoilers for anything past chapter 31. Countdown, please.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The mountains are God.
Oh yeah, mountains are definitely God.
The mountains are God. Yeah.
Lou, you were so like questioning yourself as you spoke. You were like, more.
I wasn't sure if it was Modi because like Modi is like climbing Jesus, and
well,
and with the whole thing of the Trinity, I don't know.
I was gonna say, but the mountain looked at him. He was in the middle of a climb, and the mountain
just looked at him. Oh my God, that was so fun. That moment I was like, I looked very hard at the like mountain. I was like, I can't see it.
Did they draw?
I was like, where's the?
There's just like a dot and a little smiley.
It's just dick butt.
It's a wink.
It's a Winku.
It's a winku.
Oh my god.
So we usually start with the question, what were you expecting before going in to this manga? We kind of touched on it in our spoiler-free recommendations. Does anyone else have anything they would like to add to that? Or we can just jump into plot otherwise, or characters.
I mean, I want to just get one thing out of the way. With the original setup for this, I'm like, all right, this is going to be like just reading through without looking at the promo art, because the promo art kind of really sets the tone for it. But just reading through the description, I'm like, all right, because it was so minimalistic, I was thinking, all right, well, this is going to be more of a casual like sports manga about climbing. I'm sure there'll be some psychological elements, but I didn't expect it to be as intense as it was.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
So
definitely how I felt.
I feel like it's refreshing to really read something that has, I guess, maybe an adult tone without being about adult themes.
Yeah.
It's like a sane sports.
Yeah,
manga instead of a
that's
shonen.
exactly what it is.
But
Yeah,
there are a lot of elements that are normally in sports anime or manga that weren't in this, and that's one thing that because I went into it being like, oh, sports rock climbing, and I'm just like thinking in the back of my head like Haikyuu and stuff like that, and I'm like, this is not that.
No.
I didn't even read the description, nothing. I didn't even look at the picture.
You went into it blind.
Yeah, I went complete because I was like, okay, so what manga is MangaPod reading this time? I looked at the schedule. I just found the name, just looked at the name, I typed it up, got it, and just started reading it, and I was just like,
Yeah, man.
Just can't stop.
Yeah, but I did the same thing, Lou, because like we had like the little bit of emotional scuffle, and then we had the indoor rock climbing thing, right? And I was like, okay, I think I kind of see the tone of where this is going. I didn't expect that by the end of what we had read, like the main character nearly died of hypothermia, right? Like, I was like,
Or,
Did you see
like,
his hand?
what?
His hands,
Yeah, his
or
hands.
like the whole Reiko death, like her whole thing, the like girl who was cut off her rope. That I was like, oh, that's a like bone sticking out of the blood. Like it got very real very fast. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of really serious stuff that we went over in just the last few chapters. And I was like, dang, this is definitely much more adult. And you're right, Lou, not even in like there was lots of nudity and stuff. It was just like, yeah, it was just very, very serious and intense in a lot of ways.
And you even completely changed your perspective on one character. Like when that like reporter guy came, I was like, he's a dick. And then later I was like, oh my gosh, you're an angel. Not really, but kind of.
Like still kind of a dick though, right? Like personality wise.
Kind of. But
you feel bad for him.
Almost cried.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that is really sad with him not being able to find her arm. Like the left arm to put the ring. I was like, oh, and he still wears it.
The thing is,
I was still like, I'm still you.
I didn't even think like, because I read it so fast that like I was just so set on him being like a complete dick and like that he cut the rope and stuff that I didn't even think about that she would be the one that cut the rope.
Yeah.
So for me, when I hit that chapter with that after the backstory and stuff, and when the whole situation happened, same thing happened kind of, and I was just like, no way. And then they right after that they revealed like as he pulled up, and I'm like, no way.
It was a really good twist, I thought, just because of how they had built it up and the way that it was revealed that she was the one that cut it. And like you said, Yoku, his character had been so established as being such a dick that I didn't question that he had been the one to cut it.
Well, I think it's partially because we read it in one sitting or like really quick.
Yeah.
I mean, if we followed this monthly or weekly, I think I would have thought beyond that.
I think it was set up that his character was supposed to kind of be believable, that he would do something like that.
Well, he showed no other signs of being
like believably
redeemable. And then when it came to Onashi falling, it was so suspenseful because I was like, oh god, he's gonna kill him. I was like, teacher's gonna die. I was like, there's no doubt. It was like there was a split second of it was believable just because of what had happened before and the way that this character had been built up, which was very interesting for a character who had come in so recently in the story to have that much of a like realistic character, which I thought
And
was
emotional
really
impact.
Yeah.
I also like that. I mean, I'm assuming that the story is going to go in a direction. It's going to go in a direction where I assume it's going to go in a direction where Morty like learns to lean on people and opens up more, and like finds friendship maybe with Aggression Man.
Aggression.
Yeah, that dude. But I like that so far. It's not that people have necessarily pitched going solo as being like awful, like the worst thing you can possibly do.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that nobody really, like, a lot of the characters don't understand why you ever would want to. And I think that it's interesting that we're like reading the story from the perspective of somebody who just doesn't, it's not that he hates people, but just that he's kind of scared of friendships and scared of relying on people and having other people rely on him, more importantly.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of love that. I kind of love that we've had multiple characters be like, you need somebody else there or you could die. Like, bottom line, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also that they don't understand why he wouldn't want somebody else there,
Yeah.
Well,
like
I mean, like
that freedom that he finds so thrilling.
Like, I like that the teacher has an idea of his backstory, knowing what happened with the other student at Mori's old school.
Yeah.
So seeing how, like, I want to see more of his backstory built in, and how other characters would react to knowing that he drove someone to suicide, or he was around someone that was.
Well, they haven't
suicidal,
really even like explained it fully. They just kind of been throwing a glimpse. So I
Yeah.
bet you that's coming pretty soon.
Yeah, because
Mhm.
I mean, he feels he's responsible for all his friends being hurt and whatever, and all sorts of the bad things that happen in the current high school. So I'm sure something similar happened in the previous one. So
Yeah, and then that teacher being like, I don't know, maybe he did. I was like,
I was like,
excuse you?
oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, and then
Rumors.
Sensei just walked out. He's just like, okay.
Yeah, I like that he
Yeah.
was like, okay, well, fuck you. About
Yeah. Bye.
Later.
Yeah, I love the sensei. He's I
Me
like him a lot.
too.
He's so precious.
I know.
Yeah, I'm glad he's still alive.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm glad he
we don't,
didn't die on that mountain.
well, we
right
don't know
then.
yet, right? It wasn't that where the cliffhanger kind of
Yeah,
was?
we don't know.
I guess not.
Because
'Cause
like
the-
No,
the
he
last
like
thing
legit
was like a
just
rock
fell.
coming towards him, and you're like, huh, and then it just
Oh,
ends.
you
You're like,
see his body falling, don't you?
I
Falling
don't.
off?
It was very.
That might have been the first
It
time.
was like
that they-
one or two panels, and I was like, what? just happened?
Yeah, because it ends with Morty at the top of the mountain
Yeah.
and the
I know the rock
helicopter
was
seeing
falling.
him.
I might have imagined.
Yeah, the helicopter sees him and is like, "Oh, we found the person who was missing." And then it says something about status unknown of someone.
Yeah,
who
about
fell.
I think they said something about like they saw the other two, but status was unknown about
Yeah.
them, and I was like,
Right.
oh.
Yeah, I was in the car with my mom when I read that, and I just went, "What?"
Yeah, I was in the frame with one of my coworkers, and I was like, "What?"
I was so upset.
Did anybody sorry, switching
you're fine.
gears a
Go
little
ahead.
bit. So we met like for what, like a chapter, we met the weird edgelord kid who like hung from his feet on the top of the
Yes.
That guy was like, oh,
Nice.
I see that you like to go solo too, and all that stuff.
It's like, I thought you would understand me.
Yeah. Did anybody
Middle part.
else get slightly confused when we saw Morty's like flash memory of like
Mhm.
another blonde
Yeah, he
kid
just
falling
he
off
looks
of
like
the roof?
kid. He
They
looks
Yeah.
like-
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
I think
and
they're
he even
supposed
mentioned
to.
that he looks like him.
Yeah. When he
But-
first appeared and he was hanging upside down, I was like, is this like a magic thing? And then I went, or is this in his mind and he's going to get attacked by some like demon and it's going to be all super psychological?
yeah,
I was
thought-
so
I thought
confused.
you was
I went,
seeing
where
his
are
friend.
we?
Was he
Yes.
climbing higher, like his
Mhm.
Well,
friend
see,
was
that's
sitting up there.
see,
And he's like,
that's what
I found
wondered for a
you. I
second,
found you. And I went,
too.
is it his friend coming back to haunt him? Are we getting ghosts? It was very.
Oh, and it's just this
Very
dude that wants
whelming.
to see
But because the flashback looked so similar to that scene, I was like, oh shit, did he imagine that guy?
Right.
And I'm
Yeah,
still
but-
like
Yeah.
not completely
But-
convinced.
But the thing is, they also had other people like calling him out for hanging off the roof and
Yeah,
like
right,
they were calling
that's-
the door
yeah.
down.
Outside.
And how the
Yeah.
girl was like, "You can't just take my phone and do that thing."
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
like, "I just want your number."
She's like, how dare you? He's like, we might die tomorrow, so you should take every opportunity. And I was
Yeah,
like,
it's like,
I don't
Smooth.
think that's how that
Smooth.
works.
I don't know if that would work.
Yeah,
I'd
smooth.
still be like, give me back my phone.
Delete.
Yeah,
Delete
just
it.
immediately delete it. Yeah, I was a little, kind of bummed that he appeared and disappeared so quickly, and then we went straight to the mountain. Like, it was such a jarring twist. I guess we had, the training camp, and then we went to the mountain, but, the change from the, rock climbing competition into the mountain where he gets stranded and all the avalanche and everything
Very drastic.
was a
change.
very drastic. Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one who felt that way. It wasn't bad, but I was just like, wait, are we in the same manga storyline? What's happening?
Yeah, and it's because of the pacing. It's
There are times-
literally from
Yeah.
one chapter to the other. It was kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, right away.
I thought there would be more with that middle part guy, because I was
Yeah.
just like, there were. He was like, we are the same. We want to climb alone. And then he was like, just kidding, you're not like me. And then
Yeah,
Bah!
oh, I'm disappointed in you
I'm-
for saving my life. Bye.
He just dabs out.
Forever.
I actually kind of chuckled when it was like, they got a rock climbing wall, and then 3 chapters later, they don't get a rock climbing wall
They
anymore.
blocked it off.
Shut down the club.
Realistically, I was like, that would be so expensive. I doubt that they would just be like, no more.
How did they get it so
Yeah,
quickly? It
I
was like
know.
overnight.
Well, they knew the guy that owned the place.
Overnight shipping. Oh yeah, it
Yeah,
is. It's
because
the,
Miyamoto,
well, what? He has walls just standing around his shop.
he's
Oh,
like,
you
it's my
want a wall?
walls.
Here, well,
Well, I kind of figured it was like the school has basically nothing going for it, and then suddenly they have a really high class, #1 rock climber, and they were like, oh shit, maybe our school can be all about rock climbing. Maybe that's our thing now.
Yeah.
And then they immediately shut down the club. Yeah.
So I was just like, that doesn't seem efficient.
Is that how wall rock climbing really is? Like, do you actually climb at that kind of
Yeah.
angle?
yeah, you can. Well, it depends on. Well, okay, so the kind that was in the gym that they had, that's called bouldering, and you can do overhang stuff, and it's normal. I don't like to do it 'cause I'm not strong enough, really. So
Yeah.
I usually stick to flatter walls. But then where he was doing the ropes, that's where he was bringing it with him. That's called lead climbing, and that is another level and really hard. And when he was going to that competition, they were like, "Oh yeah, here we'll just teach you how to lead climb." I'm like, No, you can't just, 'cause I'm climbing wall instructor certified, so I'm like, no, you can't do that. You can't just teach someone right there.
Hey, it's instinct for that guy.
I was
Now.
just like, no.
Yeah, no, he can just figure it out, Gabby. It's fine.
All he's got to do
I
is
mean,
close
like I
his
said at the
eyes.
beginning of the MangaPod, he's climbing Jesus.
He could
I'm
practically
climbing,
fly.
Yeah.
You know what I did like though? I liked that everybody who was there was having, trouble figuring out the pattern. He looked at it and was like, I see it immediately. And I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah, at
you
the
wouldn't be able to
end,
see that.
he was just
And I was-
standing, not doing anything until.
I
he
was
just-
actually really happy that they followed it up with oh, this is based off of that mountain that you've been obsessed with. Because
Mhm.
Otherwise, you're
Yeah.
like, no. That's
Yeah,
not
nah.
believable.
you're too OP. That's not how this
Yeah.
works.
No, but even he's still too OP. As a
Oh.
beginner climber, I have a list here of things that are not real. I'm climbing. Every time they did
Bring
something,
him.
I would
Bring him.
I would tell all my friends, turn them, and be like, "This is what this guy just did. There's no way." Okay, the biggest thing. Well, first of all, when he first climbs the school and he makes that huge jump,
Mhm.
and he
Yeah.
I was like, "You have no climbing experience, and you just did that. There's no way. You need so much strength. You would have broken a tendon or something if you did that." I was like,
yeah.
"Gosh."
Just the
and-
way he jumped backwards and up, I was like,
Yeah, I was like,
Hard to do.
what?
it would have been more realistic if they'd had something where like in Hajime no Ippo, it was oh, he's real strong because he does the fish stuff. It's you could figure out the base strength. There's something there.
Or
with-
Yawapeta.
Yeah,
He's been
Yawapeta.
biking literally every day for his whole life.
It's there's something there. With this, he's just oh, I can climb.
Yeah.
Maybe he should have just been pro pro video game player, and there you go, just buttons, and he has
Grip.
dexterity
He
strength.
got some
Yeah.
Exactly. No, when they first met the like whatever, I just call him middle part guy because that's all I see when
middle part guy. Oh, me. Oh.
The guy who was hanging out over the building and like the couple.
Yeah, the edgelord.
He has
Edgelord,
climbing Jesus or whatever.
Jesus.
When he was first like thinking he was someone else, I thought that was them telling us that Mori, the main character, had already had a little bit of a climbing experience, and I was like, oh, okay. But then it wasn't what it was. I was like, never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I was like, oh, good.
Still not believable.
Oh, this is his old friend from when he was a kid and learned how to rock climb.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like that, but no. Yeah. Another thing that was slightly not like a tiny thing that wasn't accurate is the fact that the teacher and the like Miyamoto like steroids kid, he just has a lot of rage. They're both like really bigger guys that are kind of like buff, and people who are good at climbing are not buff. Like you can be you're strong, but you're lean. Like Mori, the main character, has a very good climber's build, but the rest of them, I was like, no, you would not be good at climbing. Like,
yeah, I was like, because they'd be too heavy.
Harder.
Like they're usually a lot leaner, right? Yeah.
Right.
What about like the hands thing? Because they like made a point of being like, oh, your hands are so delicate, you don't see those on climbers.
Yeah, it's true. Like I haven't climbed in a little while because I'm on a hiatus, but like most of my friends' hands, like there's like calluses all over them, and like they're really rough hands.
Yeah.
Constantly ripping skin.
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't seem that like surprising. It feels like you would get callous really fast just because of how much you're doing with your hand. Yep. You can tell I don't rock climb.
Because of this. Because of these.
You're doing a lot of that.
Oh my goodness. So like the whole rock climbing tournament was definitely the most sports genre thing that happened.
Yeah.
Definitely. I was like, when they brought up the tournament, the teacher was like, all right, I want you to compete in this tournament, and then you can climb the mountain, or then I'll give you my shoes, whatever it was he was bargaining.
Right.
And then we get to that tournament, I was like, oh, okay, this feels very familiar, and it felt very shonen. And then we, like, drastically changed, again, to back way more seinen after that tournament. What were your guys' thoughts on the tournament as a whole? Did you like that arc? Because it definitely was a very condensed like arc for sure.
Yeah, I liked it for the reasons that I said already, and also I just liked that we had one guy who started us off who like did okay, and then we had Mori, and they explained like, oh, it's based off of the mountain that he's like can't stop thinking about, and then he like did okay but had trouble because he's not a rock climber yet. And then we saw Royd's kid like basically crush it, right? And then they were like, the end. I was going, okay, cool. I felt like I got a good idea of the whole situation.
Yeah, they wrapped it up. They just like showed everything you need to see, and then just kind of they pretty much did not show any other people climbing. I'm kind of glad they didn't do that.
It's good that they did that.
All right. I like that it was short from the perspective of, I feel like while it's about the sport of rock climbing, it's not about the competitive side of it. It's more about just conquering the mountain. Like that's what I feel like the mangaka is trying to focus on.
Right.
So I'm glad that they took the time to show us what competitive rock climbing is like. Yeah. But I'm way more interested to see what it's going to look like when he's on the mountain more often.
Yeah, and I think that also shows more from Mori's perspective, because he doesn't really care as much about competitions either. So I think that's representative of his thoughts as well. But and also it shows the kind of the not inspiration, but for the Miyamoto Royd's guy. I'm just
Royd. Just Royd.
Royd. Because like his motivation in climbing is to be better than other people. So it kind of shows that part in him, and then we're like, okay, we got those two things, we're good. Let's go to the next thing.
Yeah.
So.
It kind of made him friends, that competition.
Yeah.
But one-sided. Mori didn't really do anything different. He was just kind of like just doing his thing, and then Miyamoto's like, yeah, Yeah, you motivated me.
He was more like impressed. He was like, okay, fine. I guess you're in my league now, kind of.
No,
Yeah.
he respects him now.
And
Yeah.
Mori's just like, okay.
Yeah, and then he really respected when he was doing those things on the stairs training.
Oh,
He was
my-
like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's like, damn, I didn't think of that.
Let me help
Okay.
you. Yeah,
And they had
Miyamoto's
a little
character was like, at times it was just like up and down, like a little over the place, where it was like there were times where it felt like he was just a little tweaked each time the mangaka needed him to react a certain way to something.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, he doesn't like Morty. He's that douchebag, beat him up kid. No, he's like a really redeemable and kind of like kind-hearted. No, he's kind of the douchebag again. It was like, where are
It's the
you?
roid.
Yeah.
You know what I do like?
Yeah, the
though,
roids are
is
making
that-
him really unstable.
I do like that, like, pretty early on, we've had it established, like, he's totally in love with that girl.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Cute.
They
I
even
actually
had a little
really
tiny
like
panel flashback when they were kids.
yeah.
So cute.
And there was even that moment pretty far into what we read where it seemed like she was about to be like, I'm into you, you know, and then he like
Oh,
said
yeah,
something
she wanted
really
to
fucking
go.
stupid, and she was
Yeah.
like, okay, never mind.
He's just pushing her away.
I was like, oh,
I know. I
Well,
was like, stop being
in a
such
way-
a fucking idiot.
In a way, it was his fault that
It was.
everything bad happened to the club and
Totally.
to her
yeah.
because of his big mouth.
hmm
So true.
Yeah. I really liked that she was about to reciprocate his feelings instead of being like, oh, the new kid Mori, I actually really like him, and Miyamoto was gonna be
Right.
like, but I was your best
Yeah,
friend
I was actually
earlier."
intrigued by that because she just kept seemed really interested in Mori, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be like she likes the new kid, and and then it's a little love triangle, no big deal. But then when that happened, I was like, oh, okay, this is cute, I'm down.
Hey,
and
but
then,
afterwards, Mori ended up saving her.
yeah, I
He was
know.
almost
No, I
saved
don't want a love triangle.
I know,
But
yeah,
then-
no,
but then,
no
I
way.
just want her to go to
Then
France
Miyamoto
with
got kicked out
Miyamoto,
of
and that's
school
it.
'cause of
Yeah,
it.
and
Yeah.
Mori will be with the mountain, and that's all. That's how
Yeah.
it
That's
ends.
the best
That's
shit.
all Mori's ever gonna Mori
Yeah.
X Mountain.
More X Mountain. It's like Haru.
M squared.
Haru
R X water. H2OTP. H2OTP. Yeah. She was a very sweet character. I felt really bad for her
Yeah.
with all the stuff that happened. Guys, dude, no, people are mean. People are just
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah, what's up with that? They really took it far.
Yeah. I was like, what the
After what she experienced, they like, I don't know.
Yeah. Do all that.
Did that actually happen? Is that really how they would?
That didn't happen in my school.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
trying to think of if there was ever like a large scale dramatic event that happened in my school where people would give a fuck. But
yeah. Yeah, I don't like my school either. We were out in the middle of cornfields. We had other stuff to
I
deal
mean,
with, like cows.
It can't be a prestige school because Miyamoto's in it. He's like, he kind
maybe.
yeah, you know how like the principal's like, oh, it's tarnishing our school, the
Yeah.
way our school looks. But you got like Miyamoto here. Yeah, I guess he's like very skillful in climbing and he's bringing in that. But he
Right.
was in the beginning. So.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't want to compete
Just a
at the
bit.
beginning.
Yeah.
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 I liked
People.
there were times where it just felt like, oh, this is happening. This happened really quick. Like when we found out what Miyamoto's job was, or that Mori was
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
get a job.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, window cleaner. Oh, he's
very
a mover
dangerous,
now.
that
Okay, what? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that it was really cool. There are a lot of, even though there were like things that were not believable in climbing in terms of their strength and their abilities, other things I was like, is very spot on. Like how the fact that he was climbing the stairs, that happens. Like where you just like, if you go out with a bunch of my friends that go rock climbing and there's a wall, like we'll go to like a fast food restaurant and the side of the wall is made of stone, they're gonna try and climb it. Accurate. People do that. They're like, "This dude, feel this hold. It's good. It's good. Touch it." And I was
That's
like,
so
it's-
funny.
and that was accurate. And then also the fact that he was like trying to do push-ups off the like door frame. I've done that
Yeah.
before. Like that.
Yeah, I've
All
done
these
that too.
Yeah, all these things. I'm like, this is accurate. People do this. And the fact that he wanted to go off and like be in France and just climb. It's like that's
Yeah.
totally like a dirtbag climber lifestyle. It's something that like that's what they're called. When climbers go and just climb, they're dirtbaggers. That's like the official term.
They just want to climb, man.
That's amazing. Do you guys want to talk about the art? Should we talk about the art?
Sure.
Quick.
I was gonna say sometimes Mori looked like Pearl from Steven Universe.
I thought he looked like L from Death Note.
That's what I. Yeah.
Yes.
He has blue hair,
there's also
right?
that.
I don't
Blue hair?
know.
Just
And,
so
and
that
all
sounds-
the images, and all the images he does, but it looks like black in the.
Yeah, what's
Dang.
up with that? Like, he does not look like he would have blue hair.
Yeah.
Later on,
Shout out
Maybe he's
shout
just
out
very
to past
cold.
Aaron.
Snow.
Shout out to past Aaron who found out that Kuroko had blue hair and fucking lost her mind.
Oh, I think I heard
A
that story.
chapter. I'm like chapter 120 or something like that. It was like embarrassingly far into the story because Kuro means black, and so I was like, oh, black. Kuroko has black hair. All the other gen has like the same color hair that's in their name. I was fooled. That's not my fault. That is Fujimaki Chodatoshi's fault. That is his problem, not mine. It's his issue.
Anywho.
I have a lot of feelings about that memory. Yeah, so the one thing that I noticed was really inconsistent with the art was at times when it bugged me the most was when all of a sudden the mangaka decided to stop like shading things. And it happened a lot. I don't know if you guys noticed, but it happened a lot during the tournament arc, where there was a lot of times where like Mori will suddenly not have any shadow or anything. He was just like white with a white t-shirt and then a white background and his black hair. And I was like, he felt so incomplete. And it happened,
Right.
it wasn't nearly, I don't think it happened outside of that arc, really, because the art was really detailed after that and the arcs before and after that. But during that arc, there were a lot of times where I was just sitting there going, and it took me a little bit to figure it out. I was like, what happened to this art? And then I went back and reread and I went, the shadows disappeared. All of the shading was gone on the characters. And it made it very jarring and very off-putting. And also, they need chapstick. They need some chapstick.
Right?
I
Dude,
know.
Seriously, they all need some for real
Yeah.
chapstick.
Burt's
Oh,
Bees
man.
needs to sponsor this manga. Donate some chapstick.
They need to just stay more dehydrated. Or, not dehydrated, more hydrated, because they are
More water.
They don't need more water.
Get their crack on real good.
Wink it.
Hey, I also noticed in the earlier chapters, he didn't like focus too much on backgrounds. A lot of it was just like also white or just the sky, blank sky, and it was kind of noticeable a little bit. I wasn't really paying attention too much because I was just flying through it, but yeah, once I got like to after that tournament arc and into the mountains just like a whole other level.
Oh yeah.
Maybe he got like a team to help him shade or do those backgrounds, but
Yeah.
but I feel like his budget went up or something. 'Cause-
Like
Yeah.
I think in the cityscapes the backgrounds aren't as important, which I feel like that's why they weren't given it any attention. Whereas the mountains are in and of themselves
God.
a character. Yeah, they are God. They are a character that Mori is interacting with.
True shit.
No,
So
I
I feel like
there's
that's
too.
why they have all that detail. Now, my issue with the art that I mentioned was more along the lines of proportions in relation to odd perspectives. So early on, there are a few panels where like you see either I think it was either Mori or Miyamoto, where like you see their fingers and their fingers are like the most prominent thing in that panel, and then it's kind of a perspective of them like hanging down, but I feel like the proportions were completely off. If that makes any sense.
Yeah,
So it's just like it just looked really wonky, and there were a few times like it was proportions relative to certain perspectives that I found pretty unappealing. But for the most part, like that's like I said earlier, like that was not par for the course. That was just a drop in the bucket, to be honest. So
Yeah.
like I'm totally okay with overlooking that. And Gabby said earlier that the art supposedly gets better as it goes along, and I am interested in reading more because of that.
Totally. Yeah. Mori specifically for me was the one where it felt like from panel to panel, he could look like a completely different person. And it was so bizarre to me. I was like, what is going on with your hair and your profile, and you know what? It's fine. I know it's you because you're the only one that looks even remotely like that, but
His hair like grew and shortened and like was stand up.
Sometimes his hair straight up looked like Vegeta hair. Yeah. And I was like, what's happening here? But yeah, I thought that the moments when we were on the mountain and we had lots of detail were gorgeous. So yeah, if we wind up getting more of that in the future, then I'm sure the art does improve quite a bit.
Did anyone think that their necks were super long?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Especially when they did that whole like shaft
they did
type
this
thing.
Yeah, I was like, are they trying to be the mountain? So it was just like, yeah. Yoku, what about you? Did you give your thoughts on the art? Did I miss it?
Yeah, I mean, it has its moments and it has its downsides. I don't know.
Yeah.
For me, it was just probably the biggest thing outside of art. This is not about art, but the pacing is probably what really hooked me. Just because how fast I could get, like I got through it, and it was just interesting throughout. But there wasn't like really like too many moments. There was probably a couple moments or pages or maybe a chapter here where I wasn't like fully into it. I had to kind of read through. Where they were like probably explaining stuff, but when it was down to all the like intense stuff, like with the climbing and trying to rescue Mori and looking for him, which is the reason was Mori like really far away that he wouldn't see them? Like did he never turn around?
That's one thing I was wondering. I just assumed maybe there's wind or something and he can't hear them, or I don't know.
Oh, I thought maybe if they would yell, it'd be like avalanche or something.
Oh yeah, I also thought I was like maybe
they wouldn't yell because
but
had
not even yell.
One avalanche.
Like, they can see him and he's like he's
Well,
there.
I think Mori was like in his own little world at that point.
Yeah.
And he did like even if they were able to call towards him, I think Mori would have just ignored him because the summit was calling him.
Too focused, like because that's the only explanation. There's no way that if he was like still like in his own mind, because he was just like focused on climbing, that he would probably look back and be like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm almost there. I need to finish. What are you guys doing?
He'd like abandon humanity kind of when he saw the town and was like, nah, I'm gonna go back that way.
I was like,
that was probably my favorite part of the reading that we did. Just like he had the option to save himself, and he saw the town there, and him making the conscious decision of there are people there. I don't like people. People don't like me. There's a mountain behind me that I would love to climb, so I'm gonna go do that.
Me. It's looking at me.
Yeah.
His fingers, like they look like you can't come back from something like that.
Honestly, when they showed his fingers, I'm like, maybe at the end of this, his fingers are gonna get chopped off and he's just not gonna be able to climb anymore. It's life sadness. Like what?
I feel like
I wasn't sure what that was supposed to be.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if that's what happens with hypothermia, or like the fact that, or like he was getting like frostbitten or something. I don't know.
I don't know if it was frostbite or what.
Maybe he broke the bones in his fingers, and that's just a swelling.
Yeah. Yeah, but I feel like it'd have to.
It was so specific. It was like just right here at the top. And I was like, I feel like if it was swollen, it would be like all around, or I don't know.
It was very bizarre. That something the mangaka does very well is the like gore, the like body gore on characters.
Yeah.
Like it's not like you guys were saying earlier. It's not a gratuitous amount or anything. It's just when it's showing what happens to the bodies. They do it very effectively. The mangaka draws it very effectively. When I saw his hands, I had that same like feeling that he
I
had to have.
Looking at it.
Oh,
I just looked at it for a while.
Yeah, and I think that's really to show like the reader how dangerous it is, because like you really have to get a sense of how dangerous what he's doing is.
Yeah.
The fact that there's a girl who like literally the half of her is just like in pieces.
Yeah. And there was like the old man earlier, his kohai. Was it his kohai or his senpai who died? It was his kohai, I think.
I think so.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Lots of people.
Yeah, but that reporter, like when he took off his glove and he just started climbing with one hand without a glove, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get frostbite," and I'm like, "Dude, wait till you see that guy's hand."
Won't be complaining so much.
He said that, and then they went to him and showed his fingers. I was like,
wait. They're gonna just fall off right now. It's like,
Gross. Do you guys have anything else you'd like to touch on? Otherwise, we're gonna wrap up and give our final thoughts and ratings.
I'm not even sure.
I think I'm good.
I think I'm good. Yeah.
Good.
I think overall, good.
Sweet. Would anybody want to go first?
Oh, what score do I want to give this?
I know.
Oh, I didn't even think about what score.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll go ahead and go first.
Do it.
Do it.
All right. So my score is an 8.5. Now I'm gonna explain that score.
Do it.
It's important because I'm like still in the process of figuring out how I feel about it, because normally, I take the time a few days, spread the reading over a few days so I can get a feel for the characters, and also this discussion really is meant to like bring all of that together. And I typically don't have a score until I sit and talk with you guys.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I feel like while we received the framework for a lot of these characters, we didn't really fully explore them. There wasn't a strong central narrative that's guiding the story, so I don't really know where it's going, apart from the fact that Mori has climbing that he wants to do. So the art, as we mentioned, is pretty great. Like the action flows very easily. Everything is extremely easy to follow. The pacing is fantastic. I just blew through this manga super easily without like much effort at all. But honestly, like I feel like if I was to read more, I would rate it higher.
Yeah.
But just based on the elements that I've been exposed to thus far, I think an 8.5 is a good score.
Yeah, I'm kind of
So-
the same way as you, except I kind of agree with the opinion about like that it still has a lot of potential. It's just it's setting up a lot of things, though a lot has already happened. Except I would give it a 7.5, just because like a lot happened, but at the same time, there's just still so much that we don't know, and I don't want to. And hearing that the writer changes.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm so curious about that.
Did we,
Yeah.
did we mention that?
I don't
I don't know
think we
if we
mentioned
mentioned
it
on
during-
stream. Yeah, I saw it posted on a Reddit thread about this manga that at the start it was written, it had a specific writer, and the artist, they were two separate people, and then a fourth of the way through ish, the writer decided that he didn't want to do it anymore, so the artist took over both the art and the writing. And so people have said that there's a different shift in the story and what is going on. So I'm interested to see, like you're saying, Yoku, I'm interested to see how that changes.
Yeah, I mean, that is very interesting because it could kind of go anywhere. 'Cause I feel like in this part that we read, it kind of went like all over the place because it was like here and there, and it just got crazier and crazier as we read it. I like after this, I'll just go read more, and I'll next time we come back to talk about this, it'll be a little bit more clear. But I loved it. I enjoyed it. I read, flew through it, and it was very hard to stop. I feel like if I didn't notice that like volume 4 cover picture, I would have just kept reading, because I was reading just like 5 chapters at a time, and I'm like, oh, I thought I was on chapter 10. I'm like, so,
Yeah. I was gonna give it an 8, so kind of right in the middle of the two of you. Yeah, the art was kind of hit or miss for me, but I did like blast through it. I really enjoyed it, and I guess like what would improve the score for me? Not that 8 is a bad score, but what would improve it for me is really having a feel for where the story's going. Because again, what we read, it was hard to tell like what the story was going to be, and that's fine. It's establishing a lot of stuff, but having like a whole section that was like sports manga, and then having it be like not sports manga, I'll be interested to see what it lands on, like where it winds up being overall. But I did enjoy it. I thought that it was really well done. I'm just excited to see the art maybe improve a little bit.
Yeah, I was also feeling 8, mainly because like there were some the main things that like were stopped me from making it a little bit higher was because like I climbed, so I was like, there are all these things.
Yeah.
But putting that back beside, like I really like when anime or manga go into side characters a lot, and I feel like this is gonna do that.
Yeah.
That's one thing I really enjoyed, was learning about the other characters other than Mori. And if they continue doing that, then I think that it's gonna I might rate it higher later on, because I do really like where it's going, and I think it's really accurate to like climbing culture and how climbers are and stuff like that. So
Awesome.
I enjoyed it.
I think I'm gonna give it an 8 as well. I was thoroughly surprised by what I got out of this manga. I did not know at all going in what was gonna happen, and I really enjoyed the characters and the pacing and the story and what was going on. I think there is definitely room for improvement, both in terms of the art and the storytelling. I think what we've gotten has been pretty solid. It's not really the best that it could be, but I think it's doing what it needs to do. And there was like a few of the twists that I thought were very well executed, like the one with the reporter and the reveal that his fiance had killed herself, not killed herself, but like been the one to cut the rope. And so I thought that was all very well done, and I didn't expect it. So I think it has a lot of potential, like you guys are saying. It has a lot of potential to get even better once it figures out its focus a little bit better. And art was also hit or miss for me, but when it was really pretty, it was really, really pretty, and so I don't think it's a deterrent, really. So yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8. Like you guys, so beautiful. Oh gosh, I was like, there was a weird thumping noise happening behind me, and I was like, what is that? And it was just Dickie like walking around in circles. I was like, what is this? Awesome. So that wraps up our discussion. Everybody gave their rating, right? Yeah, it was like crazy.
Yep.
Wraps up our discussion of Kokou no Hito chapters 1 through 31. If it sounds like something you guys are interested in, definitely go and check it out. This will for sure be on our schedule. For next time, because all of us with the cliffhanger were like, ah.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna go ahead. Oh no. And read the description for the manga that we are reading next week, and y'all in chat get to guess. It's kind of a long one, so enjoy yourselves, everybody. In a world constantly haunted by demonic predators known as blank, the everyday life of humans is full of fear and suspicion, as these monsters easily blend into human society to hunt their hapless prey. However, in this world, there's also a mysterious organization employing half-blank warriors to effectively track down and kill the blanks. Called the blanks, or blanks, after the huge blanks that they carry.
After the huge blanks.
These female warriors are eyed with suspicion and distrust by most of their because of their inhuman powers. But there are many currents flowing in the shadows from the mysterious. You know what? I don't really want to read that part. This story follows the fate of Blank, one of the Blank operatives, as she sails deeper and deeper down the currents of conspiracies and revenge.
We have Stan got it, Claymore.
Yep, they got it.
Yay! Battle Angel Alita, yes.
It's Battle Angel Alita.
It's
always
always
Battle
Battle
Angel.
Angel. We just finished talking about Battle Angel. We're going to talk about it again.
We always talk about Battle Angel. Yeah, we are reading Claymore. Yay! I was so bummed that we weren't
Claymore's
able to do it
awesome.
last time. So we're reading volumes 6 through 10, chapters 28 through 57. Woo! I'm so stoked for that. This was so great. Let's go ahead, go roundabout, and shout out our stuff real quick. I'm Erin of Happily Erin. I have a YouTube channel if you want to go check it out. It's Happily Erin. I do anime related stuff. I'm weeb trash, so if you're into that, come and check me out. All the previous manga pods are hosted on my channel. I've started doing Overwatch gameplay because I'm also Overwatch trash. As much as I am weeb trash, I'm Overwatch trash. If you want to find me on any other social media, I'm Happily Erin all across the everything. Come and chat with me. Right now I am in Voltron Legendary Defender Haze, so a lot of my tweets have been about that. So if you're into that, come talk Voltron with me on Twitter and stuff. So that's me.
Hi everybody, I'm Dodger. You might be watching this on my Twitch channel, which has a new name, twitch.tv/DexBonus. I know, I'm so excited. But you can also find me on youtube.com/presshearttocontinue. There's a new news episode that went up that was edited by our lovely friend Aaron. And yeah, I'm Dex Bonus on all the social medias. I would love for you to come and hang out, and I hope you have a great day.
Nice.
Thank you.
Good job.
Nice.
Well done, Junior.
I'm Yokurama. You can find me on YouTube, where I've made a video. I actually didn't make a video. I cheated. I streamed. I streamed some ARAM on League, and talked about anime. It's Yokurama Game Talk. Still the same channel. And yeah, I talked about games actually first time. So that's.
What?
I don't know what
It's 2017. Like things are getting real
I've
now.
had that channel since like 2009. First time.
Stop
You were
shaming.
building for this, Yoku. I'm proud of you. It's 8 years in the making.
For sure. I let it marinate for 2 years by not uploading anything. You know.
Right.
Bam League.
Boom.
And I'm on Twitter, Yokurama Talks, at Yokurama Talks, and my anime list, Yokurama, to see what I'm watching and reading. I also not signed up. I went back to Hummingbird, check it out, and it's a whole
yeah.
different site now.
They
Yeah.
changed it to Kitsu or something.
Kitsu, yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh.
tried to log in to my old Hummingbird account on Kitsu, and I couldn't. And I was like, what?
You should be
We're all
able
lost
to.
forever?
No,
Yeah,
it's still
yeah, it should be connected.
that same thing. I went back in there, everything was still there.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Unless he deleted you personally. Which I like.
Just
That's
dex
fair.
everybody. Bye.
No!
But yeah, it's I've been updating. Every time I would read a chapter of how's it called? Kokou? Of Kokou?
Coco
no
no
Hito.
Hito.
What we just
Like
read
Coco
is
is
that.
not-
Coco.
I need to
Oh, you
Hito
know.
the Kokou, you know?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Eat up your cocoa.
Yeah.
That's how I would remember the name. Every time I'd read a
Kokou.
chapter, I would update that I read a chapter and invite everybody that I kept updating every chapter.
So they just keep getting notifications that Yoku read another chapter or something.
Of Hito of the Kokou.
Yeah.
Hito of the Koku.
Kokou.
Hito of the
I'm just-
Yoku.
Just saying, Yoku, you gotta start making anime videos, otherwise you're gonna lose the bet, and you're gonna have
I
to
know,
make a
I
video.
make them too.
You guys,
Yeah,
I'm
make them
giving
too.
you a
Shit.
head start.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. My
Okay, cool.
post-it note. My post-it note is warning. It's
I
warning
thought you
me.
were gonna show
It's
the
const-
fan service one.
No, that one's been changed because I
Fan
had
service warning.
I
She's
had
like,
moments
I got
during
my
this
fan
one.
service phone.
Fan
Okay,
service.
Not me.
Fan service. I had moments during this one where I was jotting down thoughts, and so now it says fan service, chapstick, no shading was weird. So that's not what that says.
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah. That makes perfect sense.
Uh-huh.
You know what else makes perfect sense?
No.
My YouTube username. We talked anime. I did it.
Actually,
Yeah,
does
that's
make
right,
really
that's
good sense. You're right.
That's basically what I do, and you can find me on most social media stuff as Lou Talks Anime. So yeah, just come and talk to me on Twitter, especially because I shit post about seasonals there, and I know people like shit posting about seasonals. So we can chat. It'll be fun. Maid Dragon is great. Love me.
Yeah, it is, right? So cute.
Mhm.
As for me, you can find me at MyLadyGabriella pretty much everywhere. I mainly am a Twitch streamer. I do variety stuff. Right now I've been playing through the Zelda games because yeah.
Aw.
I'm on Wind Waker right now. It's pretty great. It's pretty cute.
Yeah.
Everything about it is cute, and I love it.
Wind Waker's great.
And then I also stream a little bit of Smite, and beyond that, I mainly use my Twitter and my Instagram. So those are where you find me.
Awesome.
Talk about anime as well and video games, either one.
Yeah, the best.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on this week. We loved having
you're
you. Yeah,
This
you'll
is a
have
lot
to
of
come
fun,
back
Gabby.
on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next time we read, for sure, you'll be joining us again.
Yay.
Back. Yeah, thank
Whether you want to or
Whether
not.
you want to. That was vaguely threatening. I'm sorry. It's like, you'll have to come back.
But I don't want to. Just kidding.
You'll be here. But yeah, no, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you everybody in chat on both Twitch TV, whatever, on Twitch and YouTube. And if anybody's watching the VOD of this, thank you so much for watching. We'll be here same time, same place next week, 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, discussing Claymore volumes 6 to 10, chapters 28 through 57. If you'd like to find more of us, you can check out our subreddit, reddit.com/r/mangapod. There is a thread there where you can request manga you'd like us to discuss, and you can also find the schedule for all of the upcoming manga through June that we will be talking about. So go ahead, or through July. So go ahead and check out, or is it? No, it's through June. It's through the end of June. Through the end of June. If you would like to go ahead and check that out. Otherwise, we will see you guys next week. Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye.